Hello, my name is Frank Anthony, and welcome back to Let Me Be Frank. Today's Frankly Speaking, we're going to focus on the different types of negative self talk that we may exhibit in our daily lives. We see tons of posts online about focusing on positivity, and while that is important, it's also important to acknowledge that negative thoughts will also come and go. The more we understand these types of thoughts, the better we can handle them when they come over to our homes unannounced. 1. Mind reading, a superpower that many of us wished we had when we were kids. Some of us today use this technique by assuming that we know what someone is thinking without any concrete evidence. For example, she's paying a lot of attention to her phone. I don't think she's into me anymore. Is she cheating on me? Mind reading can create problems that never existed originally. 2. Overgeneralization. When you use one or two isolated incidents to define your belief or perception, it prevents a growth mindset. For example, maybe you don't receive a promotion, and because of being passed up, you assume you'll never receive a promotion and decide to quit your job. Or maybe you know someone who has never been able to overcome depression, so you believe you won't be able to either. 3. Magnification. With this method, we're taking small negative events in life and transforming them into disasters. For example, feeling your heart flutter once and convincing yourself that you're having a heart attack and need to go to the emergency room. 4. Minimization. This negative technique, we diminish our strengths and positive qualities. You could have helped someone paint their room, and they thank you for doing such a great job, but to yourself, you think, it wasn't that great of a job. They could have done this without me. 5. Emotional reasoning. A common practice where we act according to how we feel over what we know to be true. For example, we know going for a walk or jog could help us lose weight, but we don't emotionally feel like doing those things and decide it's best that we don't. 6. Black and white thinking. This is where we feel two extremes and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Either I get straight A's in school or I drop out. 7. Personalization. This is where we take on excessive responsibility for things that are outside of our control. For example, if I didn't forget to recycle that water bottle, global warming wouldn't be happening. 8. Fortune telling. Similar to mind reading, we are predicting what will happen based off of little to no evidence. For example, you go on a date with someone and say, there's no way they're going to call me again. 9. Labeling. This technique is where we describe ourselves or others in a stereotyped way. For example, after fighting with your partner, you say, well, she's just an over-emotional woman, or, well, he's just a dumb frat boy. 10. Should statements. This is where we hold ourselves to unreasonable or unhelpful statements. For example, after missing a call from our boss, you say, I should have known my boss was going to call me into work today. Once we're able to understand the different types of negative self-talk that we're capable of using against ourselves, we can view them as habits that are possible to change. The first step is acknowledging that we can't control whether certain thoughts enter our mind or not. Even though we're not in charge of that process, we can control how we move forward. After acknowledging negative thoughts, we need to avoid getting into a fight with them. What I mean by that is instead of saying, go away, negative thoughts, or becoming critical of yourself, we should try to find self-compassion and validate that negative thoughts are present. Next, we should get these thoughts out into the real world. Whether you use a scrap piece of paper or note on your phone, write down word for word the content of your negative self-talk. Lastly, for each negative thought that you have, write down 2 or 3 alternative thoughts that are slightly more realistic and objective. I hope what I said today helped you at least a little bit, And I want to thank you for not only listening, but for permitting yourself to strive towards happiness. I hope you have a super special, awesome day, and bye.